What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and in this video, I just found my original mugshot photo. Well, actually, I didn't find it. An awesome supporter of After Prison Show found it by the name of Clinton Stevens, who sent me a message on Facebook saying, "Hey man, guess what I just found? Your original mugshot from when you were first arrested. I thought you might like to see this." And you know, the crazy thing about it is, I've looked for this for quite some time and I've never been able to find it. Man, I'm trying to tell you, people are pretty smart out there these days with technology, and they can find damn near anything on you. Now, that's actually a really scary thought. Now, a long time ago, I had done a video on another mugshot of mine. This is not the same one. The one that we did a long time ago was the mugshot that was taken of me on day one of when I actually arrived at prison. This photo right here, where you can see old Joe, he's been locked up at this point for a little over 2 years. And it's not hard to imagine that I am at least a little bit terrified of what lies ahead of me, knowing that I still had 5 years left to serve at the point where this photo here was taken, again, with me first arriving at prison. But this mugshot that I'm going to be sharing with you here today, this is the original mugshot from when I was first arrested back on December 21st of 2008, facing a whole boatload of big boy charges in what would essentially be day one of the 7 years in prison that I would end up serving. And on this day, December 21st, 2008, I could have never been prepared for what lay right ahead of me as I came speeding down the road and sped past 3 cop cars that were sitting on the side of the road, obviously waiting to bust people just like myself who were speeding, probably trying to do like their Christmas quota, traffic stop, bus, speed traps, whatever the hell they were sitting on the road hoping to find. I'm quite sure they could have never been prepared for old Joe, not old Joe, but old Joe. Those are two completely different things. I'm talking about the old version of myself. They could not have been prepared for old Joe as I came flying down that road right past them, where they would end up jumping out behind me, pulling me over. A really crazy traffic stop that I almost didn't even stop for, that would lead to an even crazier arrest. And if you've never heard that story of why I was actually arrested and how all of that went down, I'll put a link down in the descriptions where you can check out that full story right there. But after all of that was over with, I was eventually taken to the jail, booked, fingerprinted, and also photographed. And this right here is the original mugshot back from December 21st, 2008, on that very first day when I was being arrested. And you know, this is a crazy photo for me to look at. This brings up a lot of crazy memories. It brings up a lot of things that I was thinking at that time. And you know, just to look at this picture and to realize that who I'm looking at in this picture is the old version of myself. A person that I no longer know. But again, you know, I look at this and I just think to myself, what was going through my mind at this time? Was I scared? Was my life over? Was this it for me? Was I ever going to see the free world again? I mean, even if you didn't know, you could just look at my face right here and just tell that whatever the hell is going on inside of this guy's head, he's probably dealing with some pretty crazy stuff right now. And you know, I also remember that when this photo was taken, I was in Suffolk. I was in Western Tidewater Regional Jail, and this was a place that was completely unfamiliar to me. Up until this point, I had been locked up many a times, but never in this city, never in this jail. I knew nothing about this place, what it was gonna be like. Would I have to fight every single day? I knew I was gonna be here for a while. How was this time gonna be? The one thing that I can tell you without a doubt that I was not thinking at this point was anything about getting released. I'm not thinking about getting a bond. I'm not thinking about anything like that, because I know as I'm standing here taking this photo, I know it's gonna be a really long time, or maybe I might not even get another chance to see the free world. I mean, it legitimately almost gives me like a little bit of anxiety. Hey, Clinton Stevens, thank you very much for messaging me and sending me this panic attack / anxiety stress coma right here in a photograph. You know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, good God almighty, we might need a full book to describe everything going on in this picture right here. And you know, something else crazy to think about with this too, is I know during this time, I'm thinking to myself, and this is something that everybody's gonna think, especially when you're in a situation just like this, getting pictures taken of you while you're in the jail. But I know I was thinking at this point, like, why did I do this? You know, the craziest damn thing about it is it's not until after you're caught or until after everything goes completely wrong that sometimes we think to ourselves like, why did we decide to do this? Why in the hell did I drive this car? Why didn't I just let this girl drive this car? Why didn't I just take another route? Why did I have to be speeding? Why was I on the phone arguing with somebody who owed me money as I sped past these 3 cops sitting on the side of the road? I had just had a conversation with the guy who got arrested with me, a good friend of mine at the time by the name of Sticky. I had a conversation with him like days prior to this happening, telling him, oh man, we really got to be careful. I'm telling you, it's Christmas time. The cops, they're going to be out and about. Joe, you're absolutely right. That sounds really smart. We should probably take heed to that and probably try to do exactly like you're saying and be a lot more careful. Yeah, I know we do. But we got to go make this run, so let's go ahead and do this. Forget the cops and Christmas time. We got to get this money. And obviously this money we would not get. Instead, we would end up getting arrested. And again, it's not until after you're caught, especially for myself, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this as well, but it's not until after you get caught that you'll stand there and think to yourself, possibly as you're getting your mugshot taken at the jail, why did I do this? And you know what's also crazy about this, as I'm thinking to myself, like, why? Is the fact that I'm not even acknowledging that what I had done was wrong or bad. I'm still trying to figure out, like, why I ain't do things differently to avoid getting caught. And it would be a long time later, probably like a year or 2 later, and most certainly after a lot of self-reflecting before I would actually begin to see the error of my ways and realize, oh, Joe, you need to be just that old Joe. And oh, Joe, Joe, you really need to do some changing, boy, because I'm trying to tell you, if you're going to stand any chance at life, you are already 24 years old at the time you're getting arrested. Boy, you better make some changes and you better make them quick, because you probably ain't about to get no other chance at life. Not after this, at least. If you come out of this somehow, miraculously, with anything less than like 10, 15, 20 years, boy, you better make some changes and you better do them quick. I'm just trying to tell you, you ain't got no more prison time in you. You ain't got another bit in you. Because if you do end up going back, oh, you're going to be an old man by the time you get released, or you might never get released again. And you know, it's also really crazy to me to think that this was the very last time, this is the very last day that old Joe, not old Joe, but old Joe would ever be out there in the free world. And what would ultimately come from all of this would be that 7 years later, the new, improved, and hopefully better Joe, old Joe, would end up being released from prison. And you know, this also makes me think, like, what would the old me think of the current me? I can only imagine that the current me would be looking at the old me like, boy, you don't stand a chance in hell out there. You lucky you getting locked up, because you ain't gonna do nothing out here in the free world. Yeah, you might as well just take your ass to jail. Old Joe, my God, you bad. You got some issues. You need to do a little time in prison, try to get yourself together. And meanwhile, the old version of myself would probably be looking at the current me like, man, who the f you think you are? You can't tell me nothing about these streets and this money. I'm about to be big time out here. Man, I'm about to get all this money out here. I got this thug life career under wraps. We all right over here. I'm just going to go ahead and stop with all this old me versus new me because, to be honest with you, I'm feeling a little schizophrenic at this point. But one thing I can say with certainty is that when this mugshot was taken, there were definitely a lot of questions running through my mind. How much time was I going to get? Was I going to get football numbers, 10, 20 years? What would this time be like for me? Again, would I have to fight every day in this jail? What the hell is this jail even going to be like? And how much time am I going to have to spend here before I end up going to prison? Because I know one thing for certain at this point, as I'm standing sideways taking this photo for this mugshot, I'm definitely going to prison. And I know another crazy question running through my mind as I'm standing here facing this whole boatload of charges. All these big boy charges. I know I'm wondering to myself if the feds are going to come pick up my case. Meaning that I'm going to end up going to court. The state's going to say, we're going to null process this, meaning that we're just not going to proceed with it. We're going to kind of throw it out. And I'm going to be sitting there like, yeah, y'all just threw out my case. I don't even know why, but I'm about to be out of here. Hey, I'm going to see y'all later, man. And no sooner I would walk out of that courtroom. Actually, I wouldn't walk out of that courtroom. I would be taken back to the jail. But no sooner would I get back to the jail, I would be then taken down to booking again. And it would be the men in black right there, the feds. Hey, yo, them boys outside, hey, the boys, one time. And they would be right there waiting for me, ready to charge me again with the same exact charges except on a federal level. And the reason I was thinking this wasn't because I had gotten caught with a whole lot of drugs. It was because I got caught with those drugs and with a gun, and my criminal record, it was horrible. And because of that, I knew there was a very good likelihood that the feds could in fact come and pick me up. Which, if they would have ended up doing that, let me just tell you something. Wouldn't have been no 7 years I would have gotten. In fact, I can just go ahead and tell you one charge that they would have given me off rip, and that would have been a career criminal charge, which, from what I've been told, carries something like 25 years because of the fact that my criminal record's so bad. Then add in the charges that I actually got, there'd have never been no After Prison Show had that happened. You know, I also knew at this point, and probably another reason why I'm standing in this picture looking so sad, is because I knew that whatever lie ahead of me from this point, I knew it was going to be a long and lonely road. And one of the main reasons why I knew this is because up until this point, I had been nothing but a constant mess up, being in and out of jail and even prison. Hell, I had just come home from prison only 10 months prior to the time when I'm standing here taking this mugshot in this jail that I was unfamiliar with, facing what potentially could have been a damn life sentence. And when thinking about the fact that I had just come home from prison 10 months prior after serving 18 months total for a probation violation at that point, and thinking about just how lonely all of that time had been, and also thinking about the fact that those people who were there for me were telling me during that time, hey yo, this is the very last time. You mess up again, you are completely on your own. And here I was taking this side view mugshot knowing there wasn't no way in hell anybody was about to be there for me this time. And this time was gonna definitely be the longest time that I'd ever served locked up. You know, with all of this, I think the one main thing that I wanted to show more than anything was the fact that here in this photo stood a 24-year-old man who had completely messed his life up until this point. And though I would end up getting another chance at life and eventually be able to turn my life around into something so much better, it would take me 7 long years to be able to do that. And then go ahead and add on another 2 years since I've been released from prison. So it's about 9 years it's taken me to turn my life completely around from that old version of me standing there in that mugshot to this guy who is now in front of you every single day, or at least almost every single day, here on YouTube. The point that I'm trying to make is that no matter where you are currently in life, no matter how bad it is, no matter how bad it seems, no matter how bad you may think that it is, I hope that you might remember this, that I am complete proof that you can, in fact, turn your life completely around from however bad that it might be or how bad that you might think that it is into something completely different and better than anything that it has ever been before. You will certainly reach obstacles that seem unavoidable and even unconquerable. But always remember that if there's a will, there's a way. And if you've got the will, well then you can make a way. But if you never give up trying to make the very most of every single day, trying to remove anything that might be negative or any sort of a bad influence in your life and replacing that with something much more positive, whether that be hobbies, dreams, goals that you hope and want to achieve, I can promise you that you will begin to see real change in your life. It's not going to be overnight, it's not going to be drastic, but eventually you will begin to see things improve. It won't be drastic. It'll probably be very little and minute at first, but hopefully you'll be able to see that and latch onto that and use that as some sort of positive motivation and fuel to keep guiding you towards whatever it is that you hope and want to achieve for yourself. And though I know this is going to sound absolutely cliche, but just remember this. You know, if I can do this, you most certainly can. And I surely hope you can do this without having to add a 7-year prison sentence into the mix before you're able to realize, hey, I might need to make a couple of changes in my life. And hell, if you've already been to prison or been locked up, or maybe you're just constantly getting in trouble, keep this in mind as well. I was that exact same person, and now I'm not. You know, this is almost sounding like a Passages Malibu ad.
I should know. I was an addict for 10 years. Now I'm not.
And because of that, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up by saying, hey, look, never give up on yourself. You know, I gave up on myself for 24 years of my life. And it took me another 7 plus 2, that's 12, I think. I wasn't good in math. But it took me a long time before I was able to get to this point right here. And if I can do it again, most certainly can you as well. Meanwhile, if I was trying to tell this to old Joe, he would probably be sitting here like, man, what this dude think he's some kind of motivational speaker or something, man? Who you think you are, man? What you think you... I can't really think of a motivational speaker's name. Man, I'm about to be big time in this thug life career. I don't need that, man. I got it. I'm be alright. But I'm not sure anybody ever tried to tell old Joe the things I'm trying to tell you here. At least nobody who had ever been through it and lived to get through it as well. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!